welcome to the No Culture for Old Men podcast. This is episode one. And joining us for episode one, we got Tyrone, we got Ben, and this is James. Welcome to the show. We're going to jump right into it. Our first topic of the night is Blake Griffin being traded to the New Jersey Nets from the Detroit Pistons. In my opinion, I don't really know what it's going to do for the Nets, but let's toss it over to Ben and see what his thoughts are on this trade.
Um, I mean, Blake Griffin is an. I used to think he would be an insurance policy for some teams, but now I don't know. I mean, can he get you buckets in the dry stretch? Yes. Um, is he going to stop any big man? No. But I guess New Jersey's hurting for big man. I don't know. I don't know. It it seems like a C trade to me.
Okay. Tyrone, what
It's
you thinking, man?
it's a good move. It's a good move. He's a body. Um, in the East, there's only one center in the East. Nobody cares about any other center in the East. It's one center. And the way things is going, they might not see him to the conference finals. They might not see Embiid to the conference finals. So it's a
So
good
what
move. I
lineup?
mean,
Well, let me ask you, what lineup are you running then? When you put him in the game, what's the lineup?
it depends on the matchups. I think he could present a matchup issue. You got to think Giannis and Brook Lopez doesn't always play together. So Giannis will get the five. He'll run five. I mean, he's going to be out on the wing. DeAndre Jordan is not going to chase him around. Uh, Bam is going to play the five in crunch time. It works. This is not a league of post up guys anymore. If you can't run, you can't chase people around. If you're not somewhat athletic, which Blake has lost some athletic ability, but he's still Blake. I mean, he's better than DeAndre Jordan.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Well, I see him. I see him giving them flexibility, so he can play the stretch five, the stretch four. If DeAndre's not a good matchup for that night, you can put Blake at the five. I mean, when you got Durant on the floor and he's healthy, he's 7 foot anyway, so he's your 7 footer. So I don't think size is the issue. My concern with Blake is what does he got left in the tank? Ben, what do you think he got left in the tank? Can he give you 15 points in a playoff game?
I mean, yeah, he can do that. I mean, that he can do that, but it's not going to come down to that. If Durant is healthy, and if Kyrie is healthy, and if Harden is healthy, do you
I
really
don't know, but
need
you
an extra?
but you say that. But when is the last time Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant's been healthy for anything? Kevin Durant's hurt now. Kyrie Irving
True,
shoulder injury that last year and the injury the year before.
true.
Yeah,
So
my
you need
yeah,
points.
yeah.
Yeah, you
What
need scores.
yeah, I see it as this. Of course, playoff basketball, they say it every year. The game slows down in the playoffs. So the question is, I think you always need a half court score or a post score when it comes playoff time. I mean, if Blake can give them a semblance of a post game when the game slows down, then I think that's a bonus. The only thing is this: Kyrie, Harden, and Durant, they are four, five-dimensional scorers. It's not like they need to run a play for them. It's not like they got to run a set. It's not like slowing the game down is going to hurt them because they can get their shot. So to me, he's just an extra body that you can throw at Giannis. That's all I'm seeing out of him right now. And don't give me to when they get to Philly. I don't know. He can't match up against anybody on Philly right now. I mean, he's a
Right.
bad matchup in that series.
You telling me he can't guard Tobias Harris?
Game.
He can guard
He's
Tobias.
not quick enough.
He can. It's not
Those
like
knees,
Ben
those
Simmons.
knees can't take
It's,
it.
it's not like Ben Simmons shoots, so they can hide him against Ben Simmons.
They could do that because
They, I mean,
they could do
it
that.
and it's no secret. Kyrie and James Harden are not defensive stoppers. They can play zone, in which they have been doing, and that's why they have won. They have during stretches they have shut people down with zone defense. You
Yeah.
telling me they can't hide Blake with zone?
That's
It
true.
works. It works. Um, and DeAndre Jordan, it's going to come a time where you just can't play him. Just like with JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard last year for the playoffs and Lakers. It came a time where you just like, okay, these 7 footers are just in the way.
Mhm.
They're just in the way. So it's going to come a time where you're going to play Blake at 5, uh, Grant, Harden, Joe Harris. And personally, as a Philly fan, I don't want to see it. I don't want none of them fools to play. But if they run that lineup, we're in trouble. Because who's Embiid going to guard? We keep saying somebody got to guard Embiid. Who's going to guard it? Who's Embiid going to guard on that lineup?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, he's just gonna be sitting back playing
Well,
on
if
his own.
Blake Griffin's on the floor, he's going to guard Blake Griffin.
But if Blake Griffin, and like I said, Blake Griffin, if he has a good night, let's say he has a good night, he's shooting 3 or 4 threes in this fourth quarter. Now you got Embiid at the 3-point line guarding him. It's a matchup issue.
Yeah, true. And it takes some beat away from the basket to play help defense. So yeah, you're right. You're right. It could be tough either way. I mean, NBA, as we know, is a game of matchups. And if you put, 4 smalls, 4 mid-sized guys on the court, and you got 2 big guys on the other side, like when Philly throws in Dwight Howard, like for that series, Dwight Howard might not even get on the court for that
Exactly.
series. Unless DeAndre's on the court, then that's the only time he'll get on the court. So
And
playoffs is matchup.
to that point, nobody's talking about Milwaukee. Milwaukee is a game and a half back from first place. They just get PJ Tucker. He's a guy that's strong and he can shoot. That's
Yeah,
another guy for Giannis to kick the ball to.
yeah. What do you think, Ben? PJ still got something left in the tank?
I mean, he can hit that corner three, definitely, and he's going to play defense against whoever you put him against. He's got good hands, so he's going to be good on that side of the floor. I mean, I was never a big PJ Tucker fan. I don't know why he's in the league.
Hey, I'm actually a PJ Tucker fan. Man,
Why do you,
PJ's a beast. Come on now.
why you
Listen,
don't like PJ, man?
this is my thing for PJ, man. PJ
Man,
worked his way from the bottom up.
he's
This
working.
dude, this
He's
dude
working.
played.
There's no way he should be a starter.
Well, I get that,
There's
but
no. I mean,
this dude has earned the right. He's a veteran. Look, he went overseas to play. He played in the developmental league. He worked his way up. He didn't have a position in this league. I remember him at Texas, and I liked him at Texas because he was an undersized, small power forward. And
yeah.
so he had to develop a game for the NBA. He learned how to shoot the corner three, and he's making a living off of it.
I mean, I liked him in college. He was a good college player. I'm surprised. I'm not hating. I just don't understand why he's a starter. I just don't
Okay.
understand. I just don't.
Because you can never have enough shooting in this NBA
Exactly.
ever.
Well, and
mean,
he's a true stretch. He became a stretch four, and he came along at the right time for this game.
there's plenty of guys in this league that
Stretch
can
four.
only.
He's what 6'5".
He's a four.
He's
He plays the 4.
He
I
played
don't-
center last year.
I don't
Look,
understand.
they had him playing the
there's-
5 last year,
There's
which is
plenty
why
of guys in
Durant
this
wanted to
league.
leave.
Six
There's
six
plenty of
maybe.
guys in this league that can only shoot, and you're wondering why they're. There's plenty of people.
Oh,
Look,
there's plenty of them. There's this
there's plenty of
dude.
people that can only shoot.
I wish I had a roster in front of me here, but there's a guy on Golden State who does not belong there, and I cannot think of his name right now. There's at least one guy I've seen on 3 West Coast teams. I'm just like, how'd y'all even make it in the league? There's one on the Minnesota squad. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I know they're better than I am, but I'm just surprised there's not a better player either in the G League or overseas
Yeah.
that couldn't take these roster spots. And I've seen a couple guys like that who made teams this year, and I'm like, why are you even on the team? But I get it. Maybe they worked their way up from G League. Who knows?
I,
Maybe the salaries a fit. I don't get it, but we'll see.
the Blake Griffin thing, man. I go back to that. The East is in trouble, and they won last night
The
against.
East is in trouble.
They're in trouble. The
They're in
Eastern
trouble
Conference,
against what? Against the West?
Brooklyn, against Brooklyn. I
Um,
said, with the Blake Griffin move, the Eastern Conference is in some trouble. Miami needs to make a move. Sixers need to make a move.
well, Miami did trade for Trevor Ariza, Miles Leonard, after his unfortunate issue. We won't go into that, but he made a mistake and he got traded for it. So
And yeah,
Trevor Ariza is now on the Miami Heat, soon to be
which
short.
is, with
Which I think is a good trade.
That's a good move. I mean, the Sixers, unfortunately, uh, they need to hold on to first place somehow.
Are they gonna get Lowry somehow
I don't
before the
think
deadline?
so. I just don't think it's going to happen. But they got to figure out how to get first place. Brooklyn, they don't care. They're going to win regardless. But Sixers need first place. They don't want to go into the playoffs,
They
the
need home
fourth
field advantage.
seed.
Yeah.
Well, no, they don't want to go into the playoffs being a four seed, and their first round matchup at 4 or 5 is Boston. That ain't how you want to go into the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's just, and then your second round matchup is, uh, Milwaukee or Miami, and then you got to play Brooklyn. That's a rough road, man.
Okay.
You
Okay.
that's a rough road.
Well, the question is, I mean, who's out there to help make Philly better? I'm of the belief that Philly needs another rotation player. That type of player, I'm not certain yet. Maybe they need more shooting. Everybody needs more shooting. I think they could use some help in the front court. They don't have a very deep front court. If they could get a stretch four from somewhere, I think that would be a good move for them.
I think John Collins from Atlanta would be perfect. He's expiring contract.
Yep, he's
He
young.
doesn't want to. He's young, and he doesn't want to re-sign with Atlanta. And he could shoot.
Well, the Celtics have been on him for a while, and they haven't pulled the trigger for him yet either. So there's a lot of suitors for John Collins. That might be a tough get. I know the Celtics were interested in him. I mean, even the Lakers have mentioned him. So he's a hot commodity, especially with that expiring contract. It's just up to the team to get him to resign for the following year. So that's a good get if they could do it. But he's going to want a lot of money the following year. So it's really on the team and what their situation is for next year as well.
To me, if you're the Sixers and you need to rent a player for a year to compete with the Brooklyn Nets, you do it
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you don't know how many years Embiid has at this level.
Oh,
You
I
just
agree.
don't.
I mean, we are what, year 7, year 8 into the process? How long has the process been going on now?
Let's not talk about the process. Let's not get me upset. That made me
And what
sick, man.
and what did he do? What did he do? Extend his knee?
Bone
Hyperextension.
bruise,
Yeah,
hyperextension.
hyperextension. They got lucky. He got lucky. I
I
saw it
mean,
live, and I was a little scared for him. But you could tell the way he landed, it was just a bad land and a hyperextension.
well,
You didn't
he,
think he tore something up, but it was
I
still a
did,
bad move.
I did the same exact thing, and I broke my kneecap. So he lucky.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
very lucky.
He lucky, man. Brooklyn is dangerous, man. And Anthony Davis better come back for the Lakers. He better. Or we're going to be seeing Kyrie Irving get another ring, which makes me sick.
Nah. Well, if they get it, it will be because Durant, in my opinion. But it's more to see on that. I think the Nets still have a little ways to go.
It's
Uh,
Harden's opportunity not to choke.
who's that again, Ben?
Harden's opportunity not to choke.
Agree with that. It's his chance to actually prove himself in a playoff setting. Hey, the way I look at it is this: Durant didn't win a ring until he got with Steph Curry. Um, who you just mentioned, Kyrie didn't win a ring until he teamed up with LeBron, and Harden hasn't even sniffed near a ring yet. So you got 3 guys who technically have not did it on their own, and all 3 of them combined have a chance to win a championship. I don't know how much more they could ask for. They got 3 of the most dynamic scoring players in the league. If you can't win a championship with that team, I don't know why you're together then. But more
I
to come
mean,
on
but
that.
we've seen this story play out before, man. We've seen teams just add players, and not win.
Yeah.
The 2000 Portland Trailblazers that lost to the Lakers, they added
Okay.
every talent that was available, and they
You,
lost to 2 players.
you talking about the Lakers?
No, Portland Trailblazers, the 2000 Portland Trailblazers, they
Yeah.
lost to the Lakers.
Okay.
I mean, that 2000 Portland Trailblazer team
It was
added
stacked.
everybody. They added anybody they could,
Oh yeah.
and they lost to Shaq and Kobe.
Oh yeah. But those are guys who were not in their prime, unlike the Nets. Of
She was
recent,
in she was in his prime. Steve
Scotty
Smith was
choked.
in his prime.
yeah. But you had Drexler, right? And who else did
No,
you have?
you
No,
had
Celtics,
Scotty. You had
dog.
Scotty.
You had the Sky. That was the
You
Scotty
had
team.
Sheed. You had Damon Stoudemire, Steve
Damn,
Smith, Bonzi
Steve
Wells,
Smith.
Brian Grant. You drafted. I mean,
That
They
was
had
a
some
young squad.
bodies.
That was
They
a
had some
young.
bodies.
That was a young squad.
You're right. You're right.
Bonzi. You had Bonzi Wells getting buckets, and then all of a
O'Neal was
sudden,
on that team, wasn't
Who?
and couldn't. Jermaine O'Neal was on that team and couldn't even
he?
see
Yeah.
the floor.
True. True. That was a beast team. Um,
Brian Grant, Sabonis. I mean,
but we saw that through the 2000s. I mean, we remember the Lakers experiment of Gary Payton and Karl Malone. I mean, but
and
you
then
know, that was all it
you
was horrible. Didn't work
I
out.
mean, look at Miami with LeBron, D. Wade, and Bosh. Their first year, they didn't win.
Nah, but they won two in a
For
row.
whatever reason, hey,
Took them 1 year to get together. But I
but we've
think of
seen.
Hey, this whole myth of somebody winning a championship by themselves is a myth. Okay, Mike is the only person really to do it. I don't know anyone the last since I've been watching since the '80s. I don't know anybody who's just won a championship by themselves. I mean, they were great teams. I mean, Magic Johnson, he's a great player. He had great teams. Larry Bird, he's a great player. He had great teams.
they had
Isaiah
all-time
Thompson,
team.
Isaiah Thompson, that was a great team. He's a great player, but for that moment, those guys were good. Rodman, all them crazy people he had on the team. It's never happened. It's just Jordan. It's not a thing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe LeBron when he pulled Cleveland through, but that may be the only time.
That's the most recent example of a player maybe doing it. Well, and he did have Kyrie, so we got to give him that.
Kobe,
But other than Kyrie and well, and they had Kevin Love too. They had a
Kobe,
decent team.
Kobe, Kobe's last two rings.
We're pretty strong.
No, that first one wasn't. Ariza was young.
True.
Paul Gasol,
Was in his
Yeah,
prime.
and
Paul Gasol was in his prime though.
well, he was an 18 and 10 guy. He wasn't like
No, he wasn't
he
dominant.
wasn't a 27 like
He wasn't dominant.
Kyrie, Harden, and Durant. They're both like 25, 26 point game scorers, all of
Yeah,
them.
they're strong.
Yeah,
Kobe didn't have that second 27 point game score like
No, they
oh,
they were dependent on Andrew Bynum to get you 18 points,
exactly.
and he
So
did. Hey, for that run when they got into the playoffs, he put it up. I mean, he had a good little run there with Kobe. He helped them out, and Gasol chipped in. And like you said, you had Derek Fisher chipping in.
nice.
They had a couple wing players. Barnes was there for one of them, I think.
Yeah,
So they had some contributing players. I mean, wasn't Rick Fox still playing?
no, not for those
Was he
last two.
done for those two?
He
Was
was
he
done.
out?
He was done. He was
Okay.
done.
So you still had, yeah, you're right there. You had Trevor Ariza still, right? So you had Trevor
Yeah,
around.
you had a reason for the first one, then they got Artest for the second one.
That's right. And you had Artest. Huh.
So Brooklyn's scary, man.
Yeah, I
Brooklyn,
see it. I
I mean,
see
they're a
it.
strong team. They got
I
you got
see it.
Harden as your third option basically.
Well, I'm just glad the East is more competitive this year, so we can't just automatically assume that a Western Conference team is going to win the championship. For that, let's jump out to the West real quick. We know with LeBron, he's out there balling. He's an MVP candidate as always, but Anthony Davis is still out, and we don't really have a time for when he's coming back. It doesn't matter if the Lakers fall down to a 3 or a 4 seed. To me, in my
no.
opinion, doesn't matter because I think regardless, they can go to someone's house and win 4 games. I don't think it matters.
I guarantee if Anthony Davis is back, they're winning the ring. I don't care who Brooklyn got. Brooklyn could sign Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I don't care. It doesn't matter. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, two best players in the league, they're going to win it. Period. If Davis is healthy, they're going to win it. And nobody's going to stop them. And they're
Well,
not even. And it's not even going to be close.
is
It's not
is
going to be
that
close.
is that with
They're gonna
them
be
not
close.
make?
They're gonna blow them out.
Is that with the Lakers not making a move in free agency, or do
They
you think
don't.
they can win with their core team they got now?
They don't need to make move. If
Nah,
Montrezl Harrell is still grabbing 12 boards and getting you 15 points with AD healthy, and he's getting his 26 and 27, all LeBron got to do is pick up the pieces. The wannabe GOAT, all he got to do is pick up the pieces. And they're going to win. It's going to be easy. It's going to be almost embarrassing.
Well, I mean, I agree. If the Lakers are healthy, I believe they'll be in the finals. I don't know if they're going to blow out an East Conference team, but I know they'll get their way through the West. I still have questions about the Clippers. Denver, as we know, has been inconsistent, specifically Jamal Murray. He's had some shooting issues. I think he'll pick it back up when it gets to playoff time. But, Phoenix, they're too young, and they're not going to have the firepower for him. So I think it
Number 2
stops
seed
there.
right now.
Yeah, I mean they're having a heck of a season, but when he gets into the playoffs, LeBron's not going to lose to the Phoenix Suns. Come on.
I agree.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to.
Don't Chris Paul play for Phoenix now?
yeah, he plays for Phoenix. That's why they number 2 in the West. I don't know why the Lakers didn't go sign him. I'm a little confused about that
Chris
still.
Paul so he can get him a ring.
Exactly. Well,
Well,
unfortunately,
no.
Oklahoma City had to trade him. It was Oklahoma
Oh,
City's.
no. Chris Paul didn't opt out.
Well,
I
so
think he was owed. He was owed the $30 million,
he
and
wanted
they
30
asked him. They were like, "You opting out this year?" He said, "No. Why would I opt out of $30 million?"
Yeah. 28-5, whatever it is. Yeah, I'm not
Whatever.
opting out of that either.
Right.
I don't blame him. So, yeah, he was still under Oklahoma City's control, and they traded him to the Phoenix Suns. So, lucky for Phoenix. I mean, it's made them a better team. Booker's solid this year. Their young players have really picked up. Johnson's been doing real well, the shooting small forward out of North Carolina. He's played well. Their center, Andre Ayton, I mean, he's improved. His scoring's down, but he's still a beast. There's not a lot of 7-footers out there, so he's still 14 and 10. So they've come a long ways. What's that?
Catching a lot of lobs.
Yeah, exactly. But in the end, I don't see them making moves in the West. I could see Portland doing more than Phoenix does just because of Dame Lillard. So
Dame's making a push.
Dame's making the push, man. He's always making the push. I just don't know if he can do it by himself again and again. I think Portland still needs to make a move. It's just hard to make moves in Portland for whatever reason.
If I was Portland, CJ McCullough be traded today.
For
CJ
who?
McCullough be gone.
Who? Yeah,
I don't
who
know.
you get for?
Somebody.
Who you gonna trade him for?
Somebody.
We had this talk, I think, a while back. I think I asked you one time, hey, straight up, would you trade? I was like thinking about switching backwards. Would you trade Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum for Beal and Wall when they were healthy? When they were fully healthy, I was like, would we do a straight up trade for them? Now,
Back
looking at it
then,
today,
the
you'd say
Wizards
no.
would. The Wizards would, but not Portland.
Exactly. But the point of that is that to me they're interchangeable, right? I always saw them as the similar teams. They were guard heavy teams with nothing else above them. No small forward help, no center help. So literally, I think you could just swap them and you would have had the same results on either coast. It wouldn't have mattered. So the question is, who are you going to trade CJ McCollum from?
Hold on. I don't agree with that. You put Dame on the Eastern Conference. He's
not going to get by the Nets.
He'll
not going to get by Milwaukee.
He'll get by Milwaukee. Milwaukee's not very good.
He wouldn't get past Philly.
Milwaukee hasn't been past the second. Milwaukee hasn't been past the second round with the league MVP for the last 2 years. Let's stop acting like Milwaukee is some juggernaut here.
I'm not
Chris
saying
Middleton.
I think
you said yourself he can't play basketball. Stop it.
He can't. Giannis needs to learn how to play basketball. That's his problem. You can't run through people and dunk. Oh, I'm big and bad, and think you're going to make the finals. That's not ball.
That way. I mean, I think people need to get to realize that Giannis is really a center. He's not a power forward. He's not a small forward. He's a center. That's what he plays.
But he doesn't. He's Blake Griffin tuned up.
Yeah.
He's Blake Griffin tuned up. That's what he is. He doesn't post up. That's what he is. Like,
see, you saying he's a better Blake Griffin?
He's a better Blake Griffin. And as soon as he can't dunk no more, we'll be talking about him like we talk about Blake. Hey. Why you don't dunk no more, dude?
Facts.
But back to your CJ McCullough thing, trade him. He's always hurt. And for some weird reason, I don't know the reason. I don't watch Portland enough to know. Him and Dame don't have good games at the same time.
They don't. They
That's
change
true.
off.
Like Dame will have 40 and then McCullough have 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they
I'm like,
swap.
I watch
what's
Portland.
going on here?
I watch Portland a lot, and that's the most frustrating thing. It's like they'll trade games. McCullough will be hot
They trade games.
early, and then Dame will struggle the whole game, and he won't even finish it sometimes. And then it's vice versa. It's never both of them on at the same time.
Well,
No.
because they both need the ball in their hand because they both like to shoot off the bounce. I mean, that's a problem. I've watched them enough to see that.
Yeah,
If
but
you
they-
watch McCollum on his good nights, he got the ball in his hand.
Yeah, but he can shoot off the pass. I mean, he didn't have to dominate the ball to get his buckets. You know what I'm saying? He's not like Clay, but
He's not a volume scorer though,
well,
He's a volume
sometimes
shooter.
he's a volume shooter.
but he's not a volume scorer. Is the problem? Because
That's saying he can't shoot.
well, I don't know why. I mean, he's a good shooter. I think he's above 45% shooter. But I mean, it's not like Clay, where Clay don't have to take a dribble and get 50 points. They're different in that, right, Ben?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not like Clay. I mean, Clay can take 15 shots, get you 30 points from shooting twos and stuff. You know, he could do that if he wants to, if the ball is moving. McCullough just, I don't know, he's too streaky. First of all, he does shoot it. He ends up shooting a good percentage, but he's way too streaky. He'll go games where he's just over.
He scores
Yeah.
in bunches then,
Yeah,
basically.
bunches.
He scores in bunches. I think you got a point to that.
And he doesn't get to the line enough.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's not a big driver. He's
So
not
I'm
a
gonna
big
ask you-
finisher.
I'm gonna ask you this: if the Wizards called Portland, no,
Uh-huh.
well, if the Portland called the Wizards, they said we're going to offer you C.J. McCullough and 2 first-round picks for Bradley Beal. You telling me Bradley Beal with Dame wouldn't be a better team than C.J. McCullough with Dame?
Oh, it'd be a better team.
Oh, no, that would definitely be.
Be a better
It'll be a
team.
better. Yeah,
That'd be-
it'd be a better team.
Because Bradley don't need the ball like that. Even though he dominates it now because he's on a bad team. I think he can score in so many ways now. He's gotten so good and so confident now that he can score off the dribble. He can score off the pass. I mean, he'll go in there and get an offensive rebound. I mean, he'll score on the break. He'll get to the foul line. He gets to the line. He gets like eight attempts a game, I think. So he'd be fine with Dame. I think they would make a better duo. Agreed. But you already got Dame, who's only 6'1", 6'2". You don't want to go get another 6'2" guard. I think you need a
Or-
bigger guard to go alongside
Go
with.
get you a big point guard. Now, to me, Dame will fit better at the 2.
Now,
To me,
what about Zach LaVine? Zach LaVine could slide in there, I think. He's a big guard.
but if Dame wants to win, he has to come off the ball. He has to kind of do what Steph did when he was winning. He has to come off some screens, get some easier shots. Because some of those shots he's taking, I'm like, dude, that's a tough shot. You're making it. That's a tough shot.
Yeah, they don't.
You're
got
not
that
going to
system.
win shooting it. You're not
They
going
don't
to
got
win
the
shooting 50
system.
foot.
They don't got that system, and they don't have the offense to do it.
They don't
They
have
don't
the talent to do it.
Yeah, they don't run that kind of offense.
They don't have a small forward that's decent enough to handle the ball. They don't have a stretch forward who can help them out with that. It's not like Golden State where you got Draymond who can bring the ball up the court.
Yeah,
You know,
there's
a
nobody
lot
else
of
that
teams
can
don't
make
have
plays.
that.
Yeah, there's nobody
But
else.
I think, yeah, I think you got a point though. If they took Dame off the ball and actually had a solid scoring point guard who could help him out, it'd probably make them a better team in the long run. But they got to figure something out because Portland's in the same spot every year, and they don't get any better. They're always going to be a 4 and 5 team, 4th, 5th in the West, good record, win 50 games. They're going to go out in the second round because he don't have no help.
But they're not going to get any help because they're not going to get any free agent help. They got to make it. That's why I say if you could move McCullough for another star, do it now. Do it now.
What's his
because-
contract like?
Who?
I don't know.
Contract.
With these new contracts, he might have got paid.
I think he was a max player, so he's probably in year 3. I think he signed his max a couple years ago.
He 3 years, $100 million.
Okay.
And that was a contract extension. And see, that's another problem I have. These extensions and these contracts. What do you? Why are you paying these guys this money? I don't get it. I had the same argument with Ben Simmons, and
Yeah.
I think Ben Simmons is playing a lot better now. But we just paid this guy $140 million. This fool can't shoot. What's his incentive to learn how to shoot now? I ain't shooting no jump. You can pay me 140. I ain't shooting nothing now. I'm gonna be doing what I've been doing. And
Well,
McCullough, he's another guy. He's another guy. He's always hurt. He's streaky. Has his game changed in the last 3 years? I don't think so. But you gave him a contract extension
Right.
to do
well,
what?
I think for smaller market teams, you have to pay these guys to stay because you're not going to attract the big star in free agency. For example, look at Victor Oladipo. He's in Houston, which I think is a pretty good market, and he doesn't want to be there. I don't know why, but he doesn't want to be there. He's not going to sign long term. He already said he hasn't. Look at Oklahoma City. They had Paul George. They could have made Paul George stay, but you know what Oklahoma City's game is? Their game is draft picks and
Yeah.
staying under the cap, and they make money for their franchise, and they still win games while doing it.
O-
They're not going to
O-
be
Oklahoma,
great, but they'll win games.
Oklahoma City doesn't deserve to win anything in life. That's another fact.
Well, when you blew Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Jeff Green, and
And
Russell Westbrook, and
Serge
Serge
Ibaka.
And
Ibaka,
Serge Ibaka, yeah.
yeah, then yeah, you don't deserve to win
And
a ring.
and let's go dive into it. James Harden, I forget the number that he wanted, but the
It
numbers that
wasn't
he
much.
wanted, it
Wasn't
wasn't
much.
much.
No.
And that owner got on national television was like, "We're not paying luxury tax."
Yeah, that's their move. That's what they
Oh,
do.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. Now you
that's their
suck.
move. Yeah, I mean
Now
it
you
was a
suck.
small number. I think they were. I think it was like 30 million. Wasn't a lot of money.
I
So you
mean,
let
Or
James Harden walk out the door for that?
I think
So
they
you
could have. I think they could have kept him for like 60 million over 2 years or over 3 years or something like that. Wasn't a lot of
the
money.
number, it wasn't a lot of money. I forget the exact number, but it
Nah,
wasn't
yeah,
a
but
lot of
these
money.
numbers, guys, these numbers change dramatically
since
in a couple
then,
of years. Like,
yeah,
okay, like for 2 years, the money is the same, but like 60 million, what was that, 8 years ago?
yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, that's a lot of money back then.
That number's like 120 now.
Yeah,
That number's like 110 now. And, you know,
Uh,
if you're a player with more than 5 years of service now, I mean, I think you're at 80 million minimum for a 3-year deal. So, you know, I mean, hey, the numbers have changed. They've gone. Their cap's gone up. Now their cap may actually go down next year, depending on TV revenues from this year. You have to wait to the end of the season to see, but you know that may come down a little bit. But these guys for a 3-year bid make a pretty good amount of money, as we know.
how
now,
long?
now, I go ahead.
How long is the season this year? Is it the full
72
season?
games.
72.
72
72.
games. So it's 30, 38, 32 games left for a lot of people.
Yep. Some people got 38, depending on how many games they missed due to
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah, I was wondering what the wear and tear on LeBron would be without AD for the rest of the regular season, but I don't think 30 games would kill it.
The crazy thing is, everybody's talking about the wear and tear on LeBron and the Lakers struggling. Yeah, they're struggling, but they're third in the Western Conference.
Oh, I mean, they're
Yeah.
gonna be
They're
fine. They're gonna be fine. I'm not
Well, they're
saying.
playing 500 ball without AD. Luckily, they did get Schroeder back a couple games back, and he's helped pick them back up. So they'll split some games here until they get AD back. But you know, I just hope maybe they give LeBron some rest here and there. I like how LeBron sat out the All-Star game and then waste his energy there.
I
So I
mean,
think
they're
he'll take time off when he needs to. Hopefully,
they're they're 2.5 games back from first place right now.
that's nothing.
And Utah, I don't believe in them, so they're going to let that slip.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing. Hey, speaking of, well, let's do. I mean, we're basically doing second half preview here. We're talking about what teams out in the West we think are going to do well. One team we haven't talked about and nobody really ever talks about is the Utah Jazz. Is it sustainable? Are they going to make a move in the Western Conference this year?
No,
I don't believe so.
Ben
Uh,
gave us the no. Tell me why no. Now the last time the Utah Jazz were good to me was when they had Darren Williams, and that's been quite a while. This team this team is pretty good. I give it to them, man. They can score. They got plenty of multifaceted players. They got a good bench. Jordan Clarkson's going to be sixth man of the year. They had 3 All-Stars this year. They're a pretty good team. The question is Donovan Mitchell good enough to carry them through a couple series to get them to the finals?
Hell no.
So you share the Charles Barkley sentiment then. No, I'm sorry. I don't want to do that to Charles. You shared Shaquille O'Neal theory then.
Hell no.
That's the Shaq theory is what we've heard then. Because the question was, he asked him the question. Hey, basically, I don't think you're good enough. What are you going to do to get better? I mean, and Mitchell's response was, I ain't got a response to that. You know what? I wasn't mad at him for that because I thought that was a horrible question to ask somebody on live TV.
It is a messed up question to ask somebody right after
A
they
win.
won a game. But, I mean, it's not so much him. I mean, because Donovan Mitchell, to me, is what he is. I mean, he can get you buckets in spurts. He's quick. He's good on the break. I don't know about his playmaking so much.
Shoot percentage is horrible, though.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's flashy. He's like, but I don't. He's not going to carry you all the way through. He's just not going to make. He's not consistent enough.
Yeah, I think they have a pretty good team. I think if Mitchell could improve his shooting percentage or consistency, it's kind of similar to Jamal Murray in Denver. I mean, they're both streaky shooters. They both can get hot. They both can drop 40.
Hey, wait,
But if you're not consistent, then it's not helping your team.
Who's the center on that team?
And Gobert, Rudy.
Yeah, so why don't we stop asking about that and talk about Rudy Gobert? Because how much money did he make?
He made a lot of money.
A lot of money for averaging 10 points.
Right. So you talk about how much money they paid Ben Simmons. This man is.
I don't know why these guys.
I mean,
this money.
Are you sure he only averages 10 points?
It's like 11 points a game.
Rudy, whatever,
Yeah.
12.
We need to fact check it. I mean, it got to be at least 14. Come on, he got to average at least 14.
Four.
He is a 2-time defensive player of the year.
Okay, he averaged this season. He averaged 14 and a half, but he's a career 11.9 a game.
Right.
For his career, he's averaging 11.
11.9.
Well, I think that goes.
This year's his best season at 14. What did he do?
And 11.
All right, and how many boards does he average? 10, 12?
13. 13.
Okay, 13 boards a game, and like probably 2.5 free blocks a game.
They're not going to win. Like, they're not even worth a discussion. Like, let's be serious.
No.
It's just like, I don't know when Utah played the Sixers, everybody said, oh, Donovan Mitchell had a good game. He had a good game. He scored 34. I said, okay, let me check his stat line. He took 33 shots. That's not a good game.
No, it's not. I agree. It's shooting percentage. Because for Utah, like you could bring Jordan Clarkson off and he'll go 12 for 16 and get to 25.
Right.
So he's a quality shooter, quality scorer. He gets buckets.
Right.
Mitchell's that 38, 40% percentage during a game. That's not going to cut it in the playoffs.
Mike Conley's playing good ball too.
Yeah, Mike Conley finally fit in. It took him a season to get it going, but I think that was due to injuries too. He had a slow start with the Jazz, but he's fit in and he's doing well. It's going to be interesting, man. The West is always a beast, as we know. The West is always tough.
I got a quick question for y'all. The Boston Celtics. I watched them the other night. Jason Tatum's good. Brown is good. But have they missed their window?
I think their window closed. I'm on that closed fan.
Why did they trade?
Oh,
he opted out.
He opted out.
He opted out. They didn't.
He needed a fresh start. I mean, he was getting hurt every game. He was missing 60 games. He missed 40 games and 60 games or something in 3 seasons. I think he was just like, luck. And this was Gordon Hayward, by the way. Yeah. He's played well in Charlotte. He hasn't got hurt. Knock on wood.
Did he need a fresh start, or just Tatum took his spot?
Well, Tatum took his spot.
Well, no, I mean, when he was healthy, and they had those short runs, they all were getting their game. I mean, he was averaging 20,
They were all
and,
getting 20.
and he was moving the ball. He was helping to move the ball. He
Yeah.
fit in perfectly. I just think, like you said, with the injuries, it was just time for him to go and try something else.
Yeah, but that's what they're missing. They're missing a third scorer. Unfortunately, Kimba, man, as good as he is,
Not good.
he's not the healthiest right now. You
His
can't
knees are
depend on
done.
Kimba. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
mean, he's had some injury issues, and you can't be dependent on Kimba. And he's had games this year where he 1 for 10. I mean, he won, 2 for 8.
yeah,
So you need a solid third scorer. I think if they could pick up maybe a Jason Collins, that would help them. They need some punch. Has
John,
there
you said John Collins, you mean?
John Collins? Sorry,
Yeah,
yeah, from
yeah.
Atlanta, the power forward, someone younger, someone who can give them some punch. Has
But
there
they
went?
haven't hit. They haven't hit on the free agents either.
No, they haven't. They've lost out, and this is the problem with them. I don't think their window is closed, but the Nets just got so much better. Philly's gotten better. I think both of those teams did a better job in free agency and signings this year. Philly did a heck of a job in signing Seth Curry. I wasn't the biggest Harris fan, and I'm still not because I think he could be better than he is. But he is balling this year. Doc has him playing well. I think
Why do you think he could be better than he is?
for the money you pay him, he should be better. He's a max deal player. I think he should be 22 a night every night.
I don't. I think
You're
he's
not gonna get
over.
that.
I think he's overachieved. I really do. I think because where was he before the Clippers?
Clippers. And he
Clippers.
averaged
Yeah,
like
Clippers.
22, 23 a game.
Yeah, I mean, but big fish, bad team,
Yeah, it was a bad
and,
team.
and he got a chance to take a lot of shots and to be the man in certain situations. He's a good player. I like his game. I just don't know if he's a push it over 20 points every night
He's not a big three, is what you're
kind of
saying.
guy.
If they got a big three, is he a big three?
I mean, he's like the 15 to 18 guy comfortably. I think if you push him for more than that, it might go bad.
Yeah, I agree
I,
with you,
I
man. That's
I
why
like his.
I'm disappointed because they
I'm
paid
like
him all this money and they paid him like they paid him like he's Jimmy Butler and he's not Jimmy Butler.
he's getting
Yeah,
36 mil this year. He's the
that's
That's a
highest
lot
insane.
of
paid
money.
player. He's the highest paid player on the Philadelphia 76ers.
That's my point.
That's
That's why I
crazy.
don't like him.
That's why I don't like him either because he's making A1 money. He's making 1A money and he's
Yeah,
not a 1A player. So you know what? He took advantage of the market. I'm not mad at the player, hate the game. But, I think you could have a better player that's lot for that amount of money. Jimmy Butler didn't want to stick around with him, so be it. But,
It, let's
overall
not get
though,
me upset.
yeah, overall though, I think I'm high on Philly, as you guys know. I think they got a good shot this year. So we'll see how it falls.
Seth Curry going down last night is we gotta watch that. 'Cause that was ugly. I don't know if it's a high ankle sprain or what it was, but he went
Oh,
down. It didn't look good.
okay. Yeah, I missed that.
Didn't
I
look
heard it on the news, but I didn't get to actually see it live. So we wish the best for Seth Curry. Hopefully he comes back because, of course, he is an important part of that rotation.
and
And
he's
then
a
I think we're about 5 days away on Embiid coming back. I guess he'll be back in a week, right?
2 weeks. No, we got a while because they were saying next week. Next week with that road trip with the West, I think they got the Lakers, Clippers, and Denver,
Okay.
and he won't see none of that. I don't even think he's making the trip.
yeah.
Okay.
We got a while. I think they're going to handle that with kid gloves, which I don't blame them.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't blame them.
What'd you have, Ben? You had a comment.
Oh no, I'm good, man. There's no need to rush him back. I know that because I mean, just take your time with him. I was actually, we were talking about this stuff a few weeks ago. I was really surprised that he had been kind of healthy this season and was able to be on the floor most nights except for COVID protocols and stuff like that. He really hadn't missed any games, so I was like, wow, I was hoping he'd make it through the whole season, but you know,
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good.
I know, you know, Sixers got to get it together. They got to weather the storm and cannot slip down to fourth or fifth place because as bad as Boston is, I don't want Boston to play Philly in the first round. We haven't beat Boston in a playoff series since 1980, I believe, or something.
Yeah,
So
it's been a long time.
no, in the 82, 83 year where Sixers won the championship was the last time we beat Boston in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
basically when Dr. J laced them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't want to see them in the playoff series at all. I don't care how bad they are. That
Hey,
damn leprechaun.
exactly. Hey, when you bring up Dr. J, it's time to end the show. Hey, I want to thank everybody for joining the No Culture for Old Men podcast. This is episode 1. We got more to come. We look forward to seeing y'all in the future. Thanks for joining the show.